All right, let's talk about the one thing that has more control over your money than anything else. It's not the stock market, it's not some fancy app, and it's definitely not your financial advisor. It's your own brain.
I mean, have you ever done this? You make this perfect, logical financial plan, and then poof, you just completely ignore it for some impulse buy you don't even remember a month later. Or how about this? You get a big raise, which is awesome, but the tiny price hike on your morning coffee feels like a bigger deal emotionally. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone.
And look, here's the really good news. This isn't some personal failing. It's not that you're bad with money. It's that you're human. The problem is, we're all running on software that was designed for survival on the savannah, not for navigating the complexities of the modern financial world. Yeah, we're talking about something called cognitive biases. Think of them like mental shortcuts, or maybe even glitches in our brain's programming. They evolved to help us make thousands of quick decisions every day. And honestly, most of the time, they work great. But when you apply those same ancient glitches to your money, that's when things can get messy. Okay, this slide gets to the absolute heart of it. For decades, traditional economics was built on this idea of the rational actor. That we're all basically like robots, logically calculating the best outcome for every single dollar. But then behavioral finance came along and said, uh-oh, have you met a human being? The truth is, we are human actors. Our decisions are messy, emotional. We do weird things like putting money into different mental pots, treating our vacation fund totally different from our emergency fund, when really, it's all just money. So let's dive into the first big glitch. This is a battle that, I guarantee, is raging inside your head pretty much every single day. It's the classic showdown between what you want right now and what's best for you down the road. This is called present bias. It's our brain's powerful, built-in preference for immediate gratification. It's like there are two different people living inside your head. You've got the far-sighted planner who's setting goals for retirement, and then you have the short-sighted doer who just really, really wants that takeout tonight. And guess who usually wins that fight? You've probably heard of this, right? The famous marshmallow test. They gave little kids this exact choice. And while we'd all like to think we'd be the patient kid who waits for 2 marshmallows, what the test proved so brilliantly is that delaying gratification is incredibly hard. Our ancient brain is just screaming, take the reward now. And in our financial lives, this bias is an absolute monster. It's the reason we spend money we swore we were going to save. It's why we put off signing up for the 401k match at work, which is literally free money. It is the engine behind so much credit card debt, and it's why that crucial but kind of boring task of just making a budget keeps getting pushed to tomorrow. The doer almost always wins. Now for one of the most powerful forces in all of finance. And it's not greed or the desire for more. It's the deep, primal fear of having less. This is called loss aversion, and the research here is fascinating. Psychologists have discovered that the pain of losing something feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining the exact same thing. So losing a $20 bill feels way worse than finding a $20 bill feels good. And this slide is a perfect kind of crazy real-world example from one of our sources. So a guy gets an unexpected $15,000 raise. I mean, that's amazing news. But later that same day, he finds out the price of his favorite burrito went up by a single dollar. And he said he felt genuinely bummed out by it. Objectively, that makes no sense. But it's a classic case of loss aversion in action. So this powerful fear, it makes us cautious, which sounds like a good thing, right? But when it comes to long-term investing, what's the real hidden danger of being too afraid of losing money? And here's the big paradox. Our fear of a temporary, on-paper loss from a market dip makes us completely ignore a quieter but absolutely guaranteed loss, inflation. By keeping all your money safe in a low-interest bank account, you are actively choosing to lose purchasing power every single year. The fear of a visible risk makes us blind to an invisible one. So from being terrified of loss,
our brains can swing to the complete other extreme, the illusion that tricks us into thinking we're way smarter than everyone else. Take a look at this number, 74%. What do you think that could possibly represent?
Well, that is the percentage of professional fund managers, people who do this for a living, who claimed their performance was above average, which, of course, is mathematically impossible. You can't have nearly 3/4 of a group be above average. It's a perfect illustration of a deep-seated bias that affects even the experts.
This is the overconfidence bias, that tendency to think we're better than we actually are. You know, you make one lucky stock pick and suddenly you convince yourself you're the next Warren Buffett. And where it gets really dangerous is how it combines with our other biases. Overconfidence makes you take a big, risky bet, and then when the market dips, loss aversion kicks in and makes you panic sell at the worst possible time. It's a psychological storm for destroying wealth. Okay, so our brains are riddled with glitches. We're impulsive, we're driven by fear, and we're overconfident. It sounds pretty bleak, but the solution isn't to try and get a new brain, it's to build a smarter system around the one you already have. The key takeaway here is you have to stop trying to fight your own psychology with willpower. You will lose that fight. Willpower is finite. Instead, the goal is to design systems that make good financial decisions the easiest, most automatic path to follow. So, how do you beat that now versus later trap? You build a system. First, automate everything. Pay your future self first by having savings and investments transferred the moment you get paid. You can't spend what never even hits your checking account. Second, create some friction. Make it physically harder to spend on impulse. Use cash instead of a card, or try a 48-hour cooling off period for big purchases. Finally, start ridiculously small. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Just commit to 15 minutes a month to review your finances. It's all about building the habit.
And you can build systems for these other biases too. To fight loss aversion, redefine what risk really means. The real risk isn't a market dip, it's the slow, silent killer of inflation. And please, for your own sanity, stop checking your portfolio every day. To tame overconfidence, create a small fun money account to test out your stock-picking genius, but keep it quarantined from your serious retirement funds. And to avoid blindly following the herd, just remember, the herd doesn't know your goals or your income. Do your own homework. And this table here basically gives you the whole strategy. It's a cheat sheet. For every predictable mental glitch that leads to a common mistake, there is a simple system you can build to counteract it. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being prepared for how your own mind actually works. Ultimately, it all comes down to this. Mastering your money isn't about having superhuman discipline, it's about self-awareness, knowing your own weak spots, and then having the foresight to design a system that protects your future self from your present self. It's all about making your default choices the smart choices. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What is one small, simple system you can set up today, right now, to make your financial future just a little bit safer and a little bit brighter?